Hello, one more year. Well, from today's presentation, I was surprised by the fact that when I talked to people around, I thought that everybody knew what I meant by my title. Actually, well, people were thinking about matrix, and they were not thinking about the topic of this presentation. So I decided to give you an introduction so that you have a better understanding of the title. I thought it was more obvious than it is. Anyway, from my presentation, I would like you to collaborate. I would like to make it interactive. I know it is not easy because there are too many of us here. But anyway, I have an online survey that I would like you to answer as we go through it. There are a number of questions, not very many of them. They are security answers. I would like to discuss it with you later on, and having that real-time feedback makes it more entertaining. Right, okay. So as I say, I would like you to collaborate with our survey. Let us make it more entertaining, okay? Not as sad for me, so to speak. So what is this about? Well, perhaps we are this is a bit kind of confusing or misleading because we are used to seeing that in English, which is the blue team and the red team, and perhaps we did not associate it with this red and blue in Spanish. Anyway, if it sounds a bit strange, this is quite widespread. Since 2004, these blue and red teams have been discussed. So red team are attackers, we are talking about exercises, and then the blue team, defense. It's a defender. Those of you who know me, you know that I've been spent most of my time attacking, and now I am on the defending side. So it's the same as CIA. They used to attack first, and now from my current perspective, sometimes I think that I could have helped more as an attacker than I did. So I was left with the feeling that attackers have a good time in destroying and breaking. They just do the attack and they leave. They do not do any reconstruction. And well, attackers do not care about reconstructing anything, and they just produce documents or have videos of how they broke it, just to land off. Again, this is a widespread issue. Microsoft have a good document talking about the methodology, and it says, well, this is okay, but let us go a step beyond. Let us assume that the network has been already smashed and they are already in, and let us see how long it would take us to recover itself, to detect them. They are not looking to test the defenses of the control systems, but they say once they are in, let us see if we know who they are, how many they are, and if we know if we are responsive enough. Actually, it talks about detecting attacks, response, recovery, and prevention, which at the end of the day are the lessons learned, and then they also talk about what to do to prevent this from happening in the future. And now, a question for you. I'd like you all to take a look at your mobile phone for the first time in the conference for you to answer this question. What is a red team for you? Okay, I want to see people holding their mobile phones, their tablet, their screens. Okay, good, good. Thank you. Someone is showing the device to me, and then we will go through the answers. What is your understanding? What is a red team for you, or what was a red team for you? Perhaps you knew nothing the first thing you heard about it. Please answer it, and then we'll go through it. And then what about offensive security? That is the second question that you will have in your survey. The first time that I saw it, I thought that it was someone, with an unbuttoned shirt, and a speaker giving talks. Well, that could be it, but actually no, it seems to be that this is a security current, which is very much in, very much trendy. Well, it's also supported by a marketing department, but I would also like you to take your time to answer this question as well. And now, consulting the manual, let us see what Microsoft has to say in that regard. Well, manufacturers have a different idea of things, okay, of same thing, but actually, yes, different consultants have different visions. It is interesting to discuss that with them because at the end of the day, we are all talking of the same thing, however, sometimes with small differences. Microsoft says that the red team is a group which is full-time staff within their company that focuses on breaching client infrastructures, especially at carrying out dedicated attacks, very specific attacks. And they focus very much on the fact that the part that they are processing will improve the processes. The idea is that attackers learn from the exercise. So the important thing of all that is that it has a purpose, that there is a learning out of it. Microsoft has 2 metrics. I like that very much because this helps them see how well or how bad are they doing the exercise. So mean time to compromise. This is how long it took me to enter the network, and sometimes how much it took me, how long it took me to escalate my privileges, or Pwnage. So, and that is an indicator already. They say, well, if it is taking shorter and shorter for me, I am improving. If it's taking longer and longer, I'm making it wrong. And what about a blue team? Is it the first time that you heard it? Have you heard it before? I know that 150 people at least, or 200 people, are in a blue team, are active members of a blue team. So please answer the question, how many of you here are members of blue team? How many of you are defenders? Well, only few, not very many at the rooted. And then defensive security. What does it mean to you? Would you say that all the security is defensive by default? It is like if this were a repetition, no? When you say security and when you say defensive. I hope that you are answering now. And now, going back to the Microsoft methodology, blue team is defined as a team which is comprised of either a dedicated set of security responders or members from across a security incident response. So those of us there receive attacks, whether they are real attacks or those launched by the red team. Same question as before. How many of you are from SQL map? Okay, these are the red team. Someone says you work in a banking office, in a bank, okay, are red and blue. Are you talking about 2 different banking entities whose corporate colors are blue and red? No, that was not it. That is not the topic of my presentation. Well, mod security, we are not doing well. Mod security, there are many more results when you look that in search than when you do a search for SQL map. But in terms, yes, we have like 100,000 results for SQL map. Okay, in terms of protecting yourself, not very many people is interested in that. And now, to come closer to the topic of my presentation, and hopefully you have answered all the questions that I asked you, let's take a look at the 6 top attacks, and then mean times to break a network and mean time to recover. So quick wins. I come to your network and then in 5 minutes I have just entered your network. So you are all evil here, and you know when you do intrusion tests, half an hour documenting, and then the rest of the time you spend it updating your Twitter and your Facebook. The first one are credentials. I'm not going to talk about credentials, has been discussed for many years now, but however, when you are installing an application, they install an SQL by default, and at the end of the day you connect to a network, and then you execute an mmap script, and then you will find many SQLs with no password or users, and then next week, 20 people have done the same thing, and that is endless. That is one of the problems with passwords. There is no way to fix it, or if there is a solution, the solution is very complex. So another example is controlling the Windows domain. Because when you go and say, I'm going to produce a policy to control domains, and then the options available are 4. So capital, lower letters, numbers, and length. But they only force you to comply with 3 of them. So if you go and write March 2015, then the user is valid and it complies with the password policy. But if you do when intrusion test, you know that many users use the same password. So this looks like nonsense, but the latest version of Windows does not have a strong enough password policy, filtering, for instance, passwords with months and names of months and year. What can we do in that regard? Well, some solutions are more painful than others. The first one that we can do is just to modify the pass field, because some of them say, well, I do it like that. If you really want your password to be well verified, you have to delegate it to a third-party validation. That is to say, stronger validation. Well, actually, I want my password to have 10 characters. So, jump box. They are very much used. So, if a password is stolen, first, the person will have to go through a jump box to access the platform. And here we bring together all the controls possible. So administrators do not do direct administration. He does not log on to servers in production, but to an intermediate machine. And controls are put in that intermediate machine. Double-factor authentication solutions. This has been seen for VPN access, for remote access. When we are in local, this doesn't happen. So these application users, service users in my web application, well, they do not have this double factor. So this is not a solution for users. Then 4 eyes. So I need to ask my boss for a password. I need permission from him. And then honey users. So I just insert the user that is blocked, and when someone tries to access, I have kind of a honeypot on my computer so that I know that someone is trying to access my computer. Then, in terms of the network or red exercises and blue exercises, the advantage is that we only need to catch those who are trying to attack us once. So the game is over when the defender stops, because in a real case situation, I would stop. If I have an intruder at home, I will cut all the accesses for him just to expel him off the network so that he doesn't go into my home again. So in this type of a scenario, if I jump a real event in a security console, whether it is a CM, etc., it's enough. That will be enough. Management of identities. It is one way of trying to attack a problem, to tackle a problem. And then, well, in terms of passwords, do you think there is a solution for passwords or not? Do you think there is a solution to everything that I'm telling you? So the second big problem that we face are vulnerabilities in applications. I've just included a couple of examples. All vulnerabilities have a logotype. Started to do that, then was followed by Java, and then, well, by other technologies as well. It's interesting, people say, oh, now they are including a logotype. No, they have always included a logotype. The difference is that we didn't know that before. This is kind of a lost battle. When we are talking about large networks, there will be exceptions. And those who do the test anchor themselves, support themselves in those exceptions. this is one of the problems that we find. You cannot, doesn't let you do any update. So someone comes to the office, log on, and then, well, two scripts, and then I only need to have an XP. I only need to have one XP, and that will be enough for someone to enter my system. Solutions, also difficult, but still we can do things. Firewall, segmentation, IPS generating alerts. Also very important, generating alerts. I only need a good event just to finish, to complete the over patches. Everyone has something to deploy automatic configurations and patches, or whatever you have in Linux, things that you can use also for free. EMET from Microsoft, it helps doing some mitigation, same as GR security in Linux. It is not very common, but you could use it in highly critical environments. Then minor things such as including alerts whenever a Java application tries to generate to the internet, because it may be an exploit trying to do something to lost vulnerable Java that I have around. So if I know the browsers that I have, instead of, so anything, whenever I get a user agent in Java, that should generate an alert, and then I will check whether it is an incident or not. And then, well, checking, doing vulnerability scans. I'm all the time joking with a friend of mine about this because we had a problem at work. I just wanted to show you this question. You tell me what you think. Imagine that you are doing intrusion test or hacking, and then you find a web server with a delete and a put method that are activated. What would you do? If you find a web server with an activated delete and put method. Well, careful with what you answer. So, attacking the red. There are many attacks of this kind. All of them are harmful. For instance, RTP poisoning, WA path. When someone hooks to your network, has an administrator, and if he starts doing poisoning LLMNR in half an hour, he gets like 20 hashes. Then DHCP spoofing, there are very many of them. They are very, very quick. It takes 15 minutes, and then they can really harm you. Solutions? Well, here these solutions are easier. We have network access control, or so just to ensure that someone that is passing around doesn't go into my network, doesn't hook to my network, as well as dynamic IRP inspection, the same as DHCP snooping, cipher protocols, deactivating IPv6. Well, they are asking me whether you can go back to the URL of your survey. Okay, thank you. Okay, it is easy to remember. Okay, you may go back to your presentation. Okay, I will leave it for 15 seconds. Yes, I know it's difficult. I found it hard to write it down. Okay. WPAD. So we have a browser detecting proxy request up until someone responds. If someone responds with a URL of WPAD, we make all the navigation to go through that and then we validate the user, etc. Well, that could be a disaster, and well, that continues to exist. Then for fake AP, well, there are solutions already, more or less solutions. Well, nearly all the big manufacturers work with that. They tell you about the access points in your building. They can also kill the hotspots that they may detect. So then you make it a bit difficult for them to install a fake AP, etc. And then things that are basic things for the network, such as segmentation, firewall, IPS. Well, we could do a bit better here, but because I'm not sure, I'd like you to answer. So please tell me whether you share what I'm saying or not. Are we overcoming attacks to the network? And now we are coming very close to the end. Privileges. Well, all PCs are different. Having a platform equipment which is secure, this is a myth. Some people say they have it, but I haven't seen any. Well, probably in one place where we have 400 similar ones, and then they will achieve homogeneous platforms. But escalating privileges in a workstation or in a server where one privilege has already achieved, it is not easy. For instance, error in permission in services, error permission in files, file maybe replacing another file in a shared folder. We are just lost. This is a very, very difficult fight to win. So the best example of that, well, downloading the script of PowerShell, of PowerUp, to do all the checks for you, and it tells you all this is wrong in your workstation and you can scale it. But actually, anyway, they can very easily go into your computer through sticky keys. They replace the util man, and then they access the administrator, and you say, well, there is nothing I can do. Well, the only thing that I can do is just to create or to build my own OS, which it doesn't really make sense. Well, but still, there are many things that we can do to overcome that. At the end of the day, it's about putting up barriers, removing access to CMD and to PowerShell. Also very interesting, a person told me, insert the key into the register, and then the person trying to attack you will go crazy for 40 minutes. And then activating UAC or firewall of Windows. I don't know what it is easy to keep that in the remote administration. So these are problems, and at the end of the day you disable them to accelerate other processes, and of course this is bad for the security of the platform. Something very utopian. So white list of binaries. Understand that that is okay for 4 servers, but for a station full of machines, that's very difficult. That's very difficult to have this white list of all the binaries in the platform. That will ensure that you will not have any malware. But I believe that to get that, you will need, I don't know, many people working, inserting data on the list so that your business continues to run, and then eliminating access to USB, to CDs, so that the person trying to attack you, well, takes longer to attack you, and then ciphering content, because you said you remove USB and CD, and then they cannot boot. Yes, but it can use a screwdriver, remove your hard disk, and then insert it in another PC. So, and then you are still again in trouble. So, and still, as I say, they can always, I don't know, bring, I don't know, like a scissor, you know, an iron scissor. Well, iron scissors are cooler, don't you think? So, do you have local administration of your machine in your companies? Tell me the truth, okay? Can you install whatever you want? Can you do whatever you want? Those who do not have it, please come to me and say hello to me. Okay, Roman says that he is one of those. No, you have the domain administrator. That's what you have, Roman. Please answer the question. And now, fifth, problems with infiltration and exfiltration. This is the last phase of an advanced attack. We have a proxy, and entering and bringing out data on the internet is very easy. Okay, that's one of the big battles that we have to fight. Well, there are some things that are more obvious, such as DNS tunnels, but attack is not very much of a mystery. Defense is, well, more sophisticated. So that is to say, blocking things in the middle so that you don't do any man in the middle. So that block categories such as for hacking, for malware, blocking the download of executable files, and then also good to block all the domains that were generated in the last 20 days. So if someone registers to attack you, you know that that person will not gain access to that domain, or you can also limit the subload. So I say, well, if the post is bigger than 50 milligigabytes, you cut it. Okay, it may be broken down in several chunks, but well, then you may get statistics that someone is trying to attack you. So that will generate a very strange, well, the attacker will make it difficult for the attacker. So anything that hasn't got a proxy within the URL categories, that person should get a pop-up and say, you're trying to access a page that I'm not aware of. Please click on continue. So if someone introduces a malware, so that person cannot do it because it is not categorized. We need to know the proxy, etc. So that's another barrier that I'm putting to the person who is trying to attack me. So that is a check post. That is not a big problem for me. Obvious things such as blocking or ciphering the USB. Well, I want to close that, the USB. And antiviruses, especially for infiltration. So what is your preferred method to steal documentation at your company? Oh, you don't do it. Okay, all right. No. Now, joking apart, what do you use? For instance, imagine that you will switch companies and say, I've spent like 2 months documenting this technology, I'm not going to repeat it. What do you do in those cases? That is stealing documentation. What do you do in those cases? Please answer. Someone is looking at me and say, yes, that's me. I did it. Yes, 2 months, okay, working on that really hard. I just changed the logo type and that's it. I take it with me. I steal it.
No, gracioso. Bueno, el último ya no lo pongo yo, quiero que lo pongáis vosotros. Para vosotros.
Okay, the last one. I'm not including it. You include it. So what is the method that I have left over? So now I have the domain administrator. So 5 minutes or 10 minutes if there are some barriers in the way. What are your top methods of attack? When I say blue and red, only few people raise your hand when I say blue, okay? The rest of you are red, okay? Not evil, but red. And the same for blue. What are the best defense methods? For instance, the EULA. So just set it so that it does not accept the EULA. That's a very good barrier for attackers. All right, not much more to say. So now let's take a look at results of the survey in real time. We have 15 minutes to discuss that. So see if you've answered. We need an internet connection for that. Yes, we have that. Okay, one response. Oh, my girlfriend? No. Okay, red team. A modern team. Good, good. 12%. Oh, these are the best ones. Okay, responses. You cannot see it because you are far away. And I say, bastard, bold man.
Ramos guapo. Gracias.
Cute. Oh, thank you. Do not forget to take the cream with you. Offensive team. A colleague, my boss, said, very strange people mix with you, and they... So, offensive security. Well, those who do the red teams. IP, okay, a few IPs, a blue team, people including rules in the firewall and applying patches. And yes, it is true, you know, sometimes that happens. Some other, okay, any other bastard, bold guy. That cheers me up a bit. It could look like you did it on purpose. I know you didn't. Okay. Who said some signing? Who said that? Okay, give the microphone to him. I admire people who are responsible for security, even if they are system administrators. You mean the question of the blue team? Yes, that's it. Yes, you're right. Well, there is no other way to do it. There is not another one to do it. Yes, sometimes you see the role of security operator. Yes, but at the end, that who defends 99% of the times is the system administrator. So it seems that administrators are only there to ensure that the web service works, that Java doesn't eat up all the RAM, and they do not think about the safety, but actually these are the ones that take care of the safety. Okay, defensive security, same as always. If I go through another insult again, if you call me bastard, bold man again, look, there it is. SQL injection and then the smile, looking like a cat, that also, you know, I like it, that's cool. Oh, this is really in 244 responses from many guards, many policemen here. Solution to passwords, double factor. Okay, I will stop joking now. Oh. Certificates, that is a good one. For authentication. Authentication factor. Something that I know, that's something that I have, something that I am. What happens with the fourth one? How long is my thin? Well, Roman said that, okay? I didn't say that. So, Laura wrote down, okay, it would have been good if it were true. Okay, this is the most interesting. I find put and delete in a web server. That happened to me. I said, okay, I'm going to upload a shell there, like in the 90s, 2 minutes. And then you go to the developer and he goes and says, no, this is recipe. And I said, what is that? Yes, when you create a session, that's the way we create it, with a put and then with a delete. We are not uploading files, you cannot upload files. And I say, oh, I made myself, I looked like a fool. And that's the sensation that I have when someone goes to my company to do an intrusion test. They go and tell you that you have a tracer. Well, if the only thing that you report is that I have enabled tracer, well, that also happened to me. People do that. So I'm glad to see that I'm not the only one who put my foot in it, you know, at that time when that happened, when I said that. Yes, but there is a world beyond put and delete. So network attacks, okay, see what you answered. Okay, no more laughing, please. It's being enough. No, no, no. Yes, the same as in politics. I cannot remember the answer. Oh, sorry, the question. Yes, we have overcome internal attacks. That's my feeling, but I can see that you also feel the same. To me, attacking a port is very easy to me. Detecting a poison network is also easy. So, well, there is room for improvement, as I can see. Oh, the thing about the domain. I asked you whether you had an administrator. All of you said yes, and domain 69. Perhaps that there is a meaning to that. What is your favorite method to send information? I copy it on a USB. Paste and bin. 15 people use that to take out information, okay, to send out information. Another one. So, hard disk, I print it out. And what do you do? Okay, as you press the keys on your keyboard, do you also sing the Star Trek track? Telegram. I cipher it. Well, if you cipher it, that is not stealing. Even if we are talking about database or documents from the company, as long as you cipher it, that is not stealing. I say, well, because you cannot break it. No, that is also stealing, even if you say that it is not. Confidential. I just grab it, take it with me. I cannot do it. BitLocker, tampons. That is a cover channel that I don't know. Well, what are you thinking of? Well, who said Tampax, the tampon? Anyone would like to say? Again, you, Laura? Was it you again? SFTP, ciphering. Yes, you are good people. Okay, you are the only ones stealing it. You don't want anyone else to steal it as well as you. Top 6. Answers are no please, no please, Wi-Fi attack, girl, delete injection, Nexus script, guide of CCN. I'm lost here. Who wrote it down? We are talking about attacking. CCN guides. I think I've seen them all. Okay, this is the one about password. Harry us. I wanted to learn from you, but I can see that you are having a good time out of me. SQL injections and then another dick here. Who said passwords is the first? Do you find that very often? Only one person is listening to me. Oh, there are many people who are already detached. We are close to coffee break, isn't it? Well, I'm finishing. And in defense, see what we can share. Oh, switching off, turning off. Minnick always said that he could convince a user to turn on the computer. Another bold man, again, anti-exploit. What do you think is that? Who'd like to say something? Exploit is very generic. Nintendo DS? Again, another dick. Well, that also helps. Well, it is not my fault, okay? It's another respondent, it's another speaker's fault, okay? Who also mentioned that, okay? Paying lots of money. Okay. Turn off privileges. Privilege. Well, again, bold guy. I was serious, okay? Who wants to... Who was that? Who did it? But 80% of you are also bald. Anyway. It was not you, Roman? Oh, I'm sorry for that. Would you like to add something? Well, this is the end of my presentation. I hope you had a good time.
Trolls. No, tenía que decirlo, tío, Mosca. Ay, perdón, ya daba por asumido que... Sí. Bueno, ante todo... un poco Michael Jackson con el pinganillo este aquí.
Well, I feel a bit like Michael Jackson. All right, thank you so much for the exercise. Has been good fun. I have a question. You work in the financial sector where services and production is so important, response times are so important. What are the problems that you often find to do something as easy as network segmentation, or for instance to apply whitelists? Anything you can think of, what do you do? Well, generalizing here is a bit complicated in our case because we are working, we are an online young bank, okay? It's only 15 years of age. It was born already in the digital age. You know, many things are very much embedded. Security is one of them. The security department accounts for 15% of the IT department. There are very many of us. We are very strong, we are very large, and we are very hairy. No, we do not have problems in doing that, but I understand that perhaps some large entities, you know, who do not do any segmentation, they are in deep trouble. It will take them 3 years before they do segmentation, and yes, there will be resistance. They will find resistance. Yes, some of us find that resistance. Those coming from traditional banking sector, sometimes when you're trying to apply any of these methods, it's very, very difficult. Yes, some projects are very daunting, and sometimes, you know, doing segmentation, you know that you have to, I don't know, for instance, deploying segmentation, you know, you have to divide and divide and divide, and then to make progress little by little. So since minute number one, you are going to let them know that it will take you years to do it. It will be painful. You will generate lots of work to other departments. Departments that say, oh, I access from one point of the network to another, flat rate, no firewall, no nothing, no routing to go forward or backwards. Yes, but I said, well, your network was shit, okay? You have, that will be really painful. That's why you have to be very slow. That's the only way to do it. And when you do something new, okay, you want to do it right from the start. Any other questions? Well, when you said that my talk was good fun, that's a bit offensive. It was not. Did you learn anything, by the way? Or you just have a good time with my presentation? Well, my question is a bit more philosophical, okay? I'm talking about the blue team now. You are in the blue team now. Are you thinking about going back to the red team? I'm thinking about joining MasterChef to change jobs. But manufacturers are all the time talking about patching and patching and patching. What do you do because you cannot patch? Well, patching is one of the only part of the problem. You know, there are some design issues that, well, of course, you need to patch, okay, but still, sometimes it's not the full solution. There are 300 million things that you can do. I'm the same as you. When I audited that, it was easier. You know, sometimes 20 minutes, I became a domain administrator, but now preventing a person from doing it is costing me my life, you know, but now it is better fun for me to chase people, to go after people. And, well, still, you know, sometimes I have to explain people how they can use, you know, the tool, okay? But it's also good fun. It's a philosophical question, but as I say, do what you prefer, what you like most. Well, David is telling you that sometimes we cannot patch because the application tells you that it has to be up, and that happens, or has to be uploaded. That happens in a company such as mine that has 3,000 virtual servers and many other servers around, and that is a huge problem because there are some auditors that are auditing me right now. I know you are auditing me, I know it, and as you say, any shit which has not been patched, well, a system guy or application guy who doesn't let me do any patching will make me go into trouble. That will give me lots of trouble. I cannot really tell you anything new, Roman. At the end of the day, it's about analyzing risk. You have to patch the last server in minute 1, or I can wait for 15 days up until I reboot it. So it is compensating or balancing the urgency and not being very much, I don't know, driven by auditors. So that's not the only way to do it. It's good that auditors are there trying to help us out, but for instance, well, you should explain to the person doing the application, this is the patching cycle, and I may patch only 6 times a year, and they should be happy. Do you think that the answer is no measure, no attack, but having a good safety architecture in place? Yes, of course. But next time, do not ask me. Just give me the answer right away. You go and say, I have an answer for you, okay? And you just save the question. Oh, it was me. It was me who wrote down that bastard bald guy. No, it was not me. Surely it was he. Surely it was him. Look at him. Yes, it was him. I cannot see Pablo. Yes. You are all bald, and you are all bastards as well. Yes, well, it's good. Yes, I understand that he did it, but it could have been any of you. Any other questions? All right, I'll see you back in here in 2 or 3 years.
Que me he olvidado de alguien, parece ser.
I forgot to say some. Oh, right, there is another question there. Oh, please, don't be shy. Okay, I just need a mic. Thank you for your presentation. It was interesting, entertaining, good fun. Yes, it was good. Good. Your opinion about the emerging markets, about NSDs is very much in favor of supporting the red team more than the blue team. Can you repeat the question? I didn't get it. So, the emerging markets about SDNs. Are they closer to the red team, to the blue team? Have you experienced something in that regard? Are you talking about the CDNs with WAPs? No, SDNs. Networks that are defined by software, you control them on the cloud. Oh, Roman is very much looking forward to answer that. He wants to answer. Please, Roman. answer that. This is my event and I do whatever I want to do, okay? I'm the owner here, he says. Right, no, I think it is closer to blue, okay? To my mind, that is protection. Why do you say so? Because it is about structuring the security from an orchestrator, that is defense. Yes, but those orchestrators could perhaps not be very mature, perhaps doesn't it give lots of points to the red team? Well, the same as everything, like installing voice IP, VoIP. Was that the last question? No, we really want to break for coffee, and next time give us coffee for free. You, Roman.